Welcome to the Brand Groupies podcast. My name is Carrie Bellog, your host and founder and CEO of Brand Groupies. Launched in 2018, this podcast shines a spotlight on the ultimate insiders, the Brand Groupies, powering the ever-evolving built world. Each episode dives into the stories, passion, and creativity driving national leaders in architecture, design, real estate, and beyond. As a women-owned strategic communications agency, we've spotlighted visionary executives for over a decade, leveraging social media, public relations, and podcasting as an interconnected ecosystem to build brand visibility and drive business growth. We make our clients impossible to ignore. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brand Groupies podcast. Today on the show, we're joined by a very special guest, Mark Schaefer, a globally recognized author, keynote speaker, futurist, business consultant, and the mind behind Grow, one of the top 5 marketing blogs in the world. His many global clients include Pfizer, Cisco, P&G, Dell, Adidas, and the U.S. Air Force. He has been a keynote speaker at prestigious events worldwide, including South by Southwest, Marketing Summit Tokyo, and the Institute for International and European Affairs. Mark has appeared as a guest on various media channels, including CNN, The Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and CBS News. Mark teaches graduate marketing classes at Rutgers University, shout out to New Jersey, and has written 12 best-selling books, including Known, the all-time best-selling book on personal branding that is literally a Bible for us at Brand Groupies. His newest book, Audacious, How Humans Win in an AI Marketing World, introduces a powerful framework for how businesses can continue to stand out in an increasingly noisy, tech-driven marketplace. Mark also co-hosts The Marketing Companion, consistently ranked among the top 10 marketing podcasts on iTunes. Welcome, Mark. We're so honored to have you here today.
Well, that was quite a humbling introduction. Thank you.
So, we have been following your journey, reading your books, reading your newsletters. We have been big fans for years now. So, this is really exciting for everyone on our team. We're very psyched. So, we'll dive right in. We're so of course, thrilled to have you and hear about your marketing advice because you are one of the most unique voices in marketing. Part futurist, part storyteller, part teacher. How did you shape your career that spans consulting, writing, speaking, and academia?
I don't know if I shaped my career or my career shaped me. Uh, uh, as I look back at my career, it's really been a series of experiments. Even when I was in the corporate world, as I reflect on my experience, I spent 25 years in sales and marketing for a Fortune 100 global company. And, I was always sort of on the edge, pushing the boundaries. I was the company's first global e-business manager. So it's just like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
What do we do? And, we implemented what may have been the world's first intranet. We were so early, we literally had to go around the world and install computer terminals at our customer locations. They didn't have computers that they could access our system.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, and then, gosh, I guess it was about, 15, 16 years ago, I started my own business. And again, when I started my blog, it was an experiment. Didn't
Mm.
know what I was doing. Started the podcast, didn't know what I was doing. Self-published my first book in 2010
Mm,
before self-publishing was really a thing.
sure.
Nobody would hire me as a speaker, so I created my own event. Like 450 people show up the first year, and,
Amazing.
um, yeah, so just continue to kinda just experiment and adjust as the world, changes, sort of morph and then just keep keep, pushing.
Mm,
Even you mentioned my latest book, Audacious. Um, the cover of the book is a QR code,
mm.
and when you hover over the QR code, the cover changes continuously on your phone.
Oh,
I uploaded the book to AI, and the AI is creating abstract images based on the stories in the book. So it's just like I'm always like experimenting,
wow.
not completely knowing what I'm doing, but more often than not, it leads to something good.
Yes, I love that, and I know you talk a lot about curiosity, right? It's a common thread to have that curiosity,
Yeah.
um, moving forward. So your blog Grow has been a leading voice in the industry for years. Why do you think it has resonated so deeply with marketers around the world?
Well, um, I think in the beginning, it was because I was different in the
Mm,
way that in the early days of blogging, most of the early bloggers did not have a lot of corporate experience.
mm,
They were young. I mean, they were the innovators. If you look at like the people who are the taste makers on TikTok today,
mhm,
that's sort of the demographic of the early bloggers. And here I come in. I wrote my first blog post when I was, I think, 48,
oh,
49, and I had, you know, years of international marketing experience. So it was a different voice.
mm,
Um, I think what's characterized me over the years, the common thread is really honesty, not really pushing any agenda other
mhm,
than trying to teach, trying to be helpful, um, at times vulnerable, hopefully always interesting,
mhm.
occasionally entertaining.
You're funny when you're I've watched your
Well,
keynotes.
I think that's part of the risk. I think
Mhm,
that's part of being human is
mhm,
is just some days I feel funny and sometimes I don't. Um, and just having the risk to show yourself
mhm,
and having the courage to add your own personal story, your own personal stories to the narrative of what you're trying to get through, the messages you're trying to get through. To stand out, you have to be original. And
yeah,
really, the only choice we have is to add our story because that's something
mhm,
no one's ever heard before. There's only one
mhm,
you. You have no
yeah,
competition, but that's not easy to do. And it
yeah.
didn't come naturally to me. I'm still a work in progress, trying to add my humanity to the story.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I think we always talk about that when people are saying, "How do I stand out? How am I different?" And we always say, I think it's from your book, there's only one you. You're original. No one is like you. So what really sets you apart? But you were such an early adapter, so it's really neat to hear that as well. So we need to discuss known because our team absolutely loves and wholeheartedly believes in the marketing principles you outlined. It's actually become a resource for anyone who's trying to build a personal brand today.
Yeah.
And we actually buy your book in bulk because we give it to
Thank you.
all our current potential clients. Any new business meetings, we follow up and we send them the book. And they always tell us how quickly they read it and how now they start talking about chapters. Oh, and in this chapter he said this and I'm going to follow this, and it resonates so much. So share the philosophy behind being known in your industry.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I mean, I'm extraordinarily proud of that book. I've written 12 books, and as you mentioned, I teach at a university and I consult to all these companies. But I would say that book is probably my major contribution to the world of business
Mhm,
because it works. It really does. I nailed it. And um, the book, um, it's more important than ever because I think in this world of AI, our last line of defense is our personal
mhm,
brand.
Yeah.
If you are known in your industry, if you're the go-to person in this industry, you're gonna be okay.
Mm,
And the story I tell that I think sums it up the best is when ChatGPT came out, like, I immediately saw the implications, the potential impact, and I called up a friend of mine, he's a very famous tech analyst in New York, Shelley Palmer, and
mm,
said, "Shelley, what do you think about this?" He said, "I'm terrified." He said, "I've blogged almost every day for the last 15 years,
mm.
and I asked ChatGPT to write a blog on a certain topic in my voice, and it did a perfect job in 3 seconds."
Yeah.
He said, "I feel like I'm 80% replaced." Now, on the surface, that does seem terrifying, but the more important question is, what's the 20%? That's his personal brand, right? AI can't
Mm,
touch it.
yeah.
And Shelley has nothing to worry about because he's known, he's trusted, he's beloved. People will always read his blog. They will always
Mm,
read his books. They will always attend his speeches and classes because he's trusted. And in this
yeah.
world that is being overrun literally by deep fakes and misinformation, we're always going to turn to the thought leaders in our industry for truth to help us navigate this world. And I feel the same way that
Mm.
um, look, I've blogged. I think I went at one point 680 weeks without missing a blog post.
Wow.
Took a little break for COVID and then started up again. And I never miss. And
Yeah.
I've had a podcast for 13 years, never missed an episode. And I
Yeah.
show up on social media and I engage with people. And it's really me, by the way.
Yes, it's you.
and uh, uh, and as you mentioned, I've written 12 books, so I show up,
Mhm.
I show up, I show up,
Mhm.
and so I'm not worried about AI because
Yes.
I have this audience who trusts me, and
Yeah.
actually one of the things on my blog now, every post I add this little badge that says 100% human content to
Love
assure
that.
people this is me. I'm not
Mm.
going away. I'm
Yeah.
here for you, and this is really me.
Yeah. I
And
love that.
as we go forward, the human connection, the human content is going to be a luxury. It's going to make you elite because so
Mhm.
much of the world is just depending on AI. They're abdicating their content to AI.
Yeah, those are such incredible points and, holding it up known for everyone. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, we definitely agree that, human connection and for following you for so many years, I feel like I already know you. I feel like I know a lot about you and that we've been friends even before I met you today in person, just from being out there and you're so authentic and you're so real. So thank you for sharing that. It's really important as people freak out about AI and figure out where they should double down moving forward. So, your new book, congratulations, Audacious, focuses on how humans can win in an AI driven marketing world. How timely, because everyone is buzzing about and pondering this topic that you just talked about. What inspired this book, and what do businesses most need to understand as AI reshapes our industry? I guess, in addition to what you've already shared.
Well, I mean, I only write a book when I see a problem that people are struggling with, like what's keeping people up at night. And it's exactly as you said. I mean, we
Mm,
are really in a time of existential threat. AI is nipping at the heels of our skill sets. In some cases, it's nipping at the heels of our careers. It's overtaking, advertising and creativity and writing, all the things that we've sort of, embraced and loved about our careers. And so I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to really, discern what is real, what is true, where are we going to thrive. And I didn't sugarcoat it.
Mhm.
This is not a kumbaya book. This is a very frank and honest book. And the first message, you know, I provide in the book is that competent doesn't cut it. If you're competent, you're a commodity
Mm.
and you're vulnerable because AI is more than competent. And worst of all, if you're competent, you're ignorable. Now, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. Rising above competent in most industries isn't that hard. Most marketing is dreadfully boring. And I back this up with some statistics. I'm having a hard
Yeah.
time saying that word today. It's funny. It reminds me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of there. I had this wonderful, wonderful manager I worked with in the corporate world, who was the head of
Uh-huh.
statistical process control, and the
Oh
man
my god.
he could not say that word.
That's like a tongue
It
twister.
was a
Sally sells seashells.
horrible career choice for him because he could not say that word.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, okay, I'm
Yeah.
back. I'm
No, I
back.
love it.
Uh, so so the book is it first sets out the business case to show that generally speaking, the world of marketing and advertising is just very, very boring. And so the bar is not that high for
Mhm.
us to but what's keeping us there? Why aren't we if it's so easy to be creative and stand out, why are we in this pandemic of dull?
Mm.
And it's fear. Most cases, it's fear. We like being in this country club of boring because this is the way it's always been. This is the way we've
Mhm.
always done it, and this is the way our competitors do it.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to just stay. We don't want to rock the boat. We're afraid of upsetting our agency. We're afraid of upsetting our customer. We're afraid of losing our job. We're afraid that it won't get passed by the legal department. And so there's this like infrastructure that holds
Mhm.
this fear in place. And I think if that's the reason that's holding you back, you've got to overcome it. You've got to transcend it, or AI is coming for you.
Mhm.
And then I get into a framework. So what an experience I had. I mean, just what an experience. I got to meet and interview some of the greatest, most acclaimed creators in the world, some of the most creative geniuses
Wow.
literally in the world. And I said, I want to go behind the scenes. I
Love
want
it.
to learn how do you transcend AI? How do you rise above the noise? Give me your secrets.
Yeah.
And they said, okay. And they did. And every chapter of this book is jam packed with ideas and case studies and stories that will inspire you. And I was very careful to include diverse perspectives.
Mm.
So there are ideas in here that cost $1 million, and there are
Mhm.
ideas in the book that cost nothing, literally nothing, no
Wow.
budget. I have nonprofits and big companies and universities and everything you could think of because I didn't want to leave anybody behind.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the most important question we have in the marketing world right now is where are we going to fit? And
Mhm.
I'm convinced there is a place for it, and that's
Mm.
that's the business case for the book.
Yeah, that's incredible. We're gonna have to buy this in bulk now. So,
Well, have
um,
you read it? Have you read it yet?
it's, I've not gotten to read it yet, but I'm
I mean,
starting today.
it's the most fun book I've
I
ever
can't
written.
wait. I'm so
And
excited.
when I write a book, by the end of the process, I'm usually exhausted, just
Yes.
exhausted. And when I wrote this book, I was energized, and I was sad that it was over because it just You
Oh,
just you'll just have to read it for yourself.
yeah,
It's the
I
most
love it.
fun business book you'll ever experience, I think.
I'm so excited, and also the fact that you really market to, smaller companies and businesses and large corporations, because I think that's so important to if you don't have a budget, that's a big challenge as well. So, we're all gonna read it, and we're gonna let you know what we think. So so you've worked with global brands across nearly every category, and I know you touched a little bit upon the shifts you're seeing right now in the marketing strategies. What are companies still getting wrong specifically?
Well, um, so a few years ago, I heard this podcast interview with Dr. Philip Kotler. And Dr. Kotler really is considered the father of modern marketing. He's the reason I'm in marketing because I opened his book, his textbook when I was in college and thought this is what I want to do. And in this interview, he said, what's missing in the corporate world today is a truly human voice that's friendly, accessible, even vulnerable.
Mm,
So when we hear all these buzzwords about human-centered marketing, humanity in our marketing, it really isn't for the most part. I mean, it's a stock photo of people, right?
mhm,
And that we slap, you know, someone's name on top of an email and we think that's personal. Or we put pictures of, a stock photo on our website of people and we think that's human-centered marketing. And I think this key word for me is vulnerable. I mean, when have we ever really seen advertising and marketing that's vulnerable? Very, very rarely. And yet, that is our superpower. I mean, is AI going to be vulnerable?
mhm.
No. Uh,
Yeah.
and so it suggests that we need to raise our game. And I think that's much easier for small to medium-sized companies to do because usually there's an owner or founder that's the
Mhm.
face of the company, and people generally know who that is. But, I mean, who's the face that we love at Verizon? Who's the face that we love at Ford Motor Company?
Mm,
And I think it's gonna be an imperative because, as I said, AI is gonna overrun most of the content creation, but the
yeah.
thing that will always persist will be art. So we'll always have our favorite musician and our favorite author and our favorite poet and our favorite artist, no matter what AI does, right? I mean, AI may make a song like Bruce Springsteen.
Mhm.
That's a novelty, but I'm only gonna pay my money to see the man,
Yeah.
the boss, Bruce Springsteen. I'm not gonna go pay to listen to a computer, and that will always persist, and so we have to bring that level of honesty to our own content. Art is about interpreting the human experience in this vulnerable way, and that type of content is what will stand out in this AI world. And that is a very unfamiliar territory for most businesses.
Mm,
Most businesses won't, I don't think they'll be able to get there,
mm.
because it'll have to be approved by the legal department.
I know. No, well, we totally agree. It's funny, we have to make sure that there's a face of the brand. We don't take on any clients unless there's a human who is going to be
Yeah.
out there. That's really part of our strategy. So we love that. So, of course, for, personal branding, not everyone will get it right away. What advice, would you give to someone trying to become known? I mean, besides buying your book, where should they begin this week? What could be something you'd recommend?
Well, I've done so much coaching and teaching on personal branding. In addition to the book, I teach an online class available on Maven for personal
Mm,
branding. So I've taught hundreds of people, and I see the people who start and stick with it, they soar. It changes their lives.
mhm,
It does. It works. It changes their business. Now, it doesn't happen all at once. And when in my classes, I encourage people to have an 18-month mindset to go through this process, to be clear about, where do you fit in this ecosystem, and what's the message you want to bring to the world, and what content are you going to create to carry that message, and you need to show up in a consistent way. I recommend once a week. So once a week for 18 months, and you're going to have a good indication of how it's working.
mhm,
And so the two main failure modes: one, they never start; two, they quit too early. And when I wrote Known, I interviewed 97 people from around the world to learn, how did you do it? And they all did the same four things, and there was no exception. And
mhm,
at the end of my interview, I asked everyone the same question. I said, if you could give advice to the people reading this book, what would it be? And almost every person used a form of the word consistency,
mhm.
resiliency, tenacity. You just cannot give up. It is not a hockey stick form of success. It's slow and steady, and the longer you do it, the more opportunities come to you, the more calls get returned, the more people are knocking at your door, the more you are known, trusted, and beloved in your industry. But you just cannot quit. It's not a program, it's a lifestyle. It really is. It has to become, part of your discipline of your life.
You totally nailed it. We totally we've seen that, I think, firsthand too, getting our clients on podcasts, and it's been, um, years. It's a momentum game, and next thing you know, people are calling for panels. They're getting new business.
Yeah,
People are saying, "I heard you
exactly.
on the episode," and then it's like
Yeah,
a panel, right? They'll be on a panel. Then they'll be asked to keynote. Then they'll be
that's
asked,
right. And
to
see,
be
that's the
part of
thing
this big
a lot of people
project.
so that's something a lot of people ignore, and you're bringing up a very, very good point, is that they're saying, "Oh, my goodness, I've been working on this, I've been writing a blog for a year, and, we haven't had any more revenue." But they're ignoring these qualitative measures. So revenue is a quantitative measure. You can measure the money coming in, but being invited to a podcast, being invited to a panel, being invited to lecture at a university because of the content they're creating, that is a sign that it's working. You are becoming known. Do not stop. Do not quit. The money will come, but just the qualitative measures at that stage are as important as the quantitative measures. So don't give up.
I think I'm shedding a tear. That's exactly what we say every year. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. Thank you, Mark. Oh, we believe so wholeheartedly in that. So, thank you very much. And as a keynote speaker and educator, you're always scanning the horizon. What trends do you believe will define the future of marketing over the next 3 to 5 years?
I don't think anybody can really answer that. And here's why. AI is just going to have such a transformational role on every single thing we do. And even the insiders in Silicon Valley really don't know what's coming next. There seems to be a surprise and a bump in the road, and maybe something even wonderful and magical that they didn't predict, that they didn't anticipate. And I think the biggest and most humbling lesson I learned, early on in these AI days, I remember when ChatGPT came out, there was this, analyst, that said, "Oh, well, ChatGPT, this is really amazing, and what a great milestone for technology in the world." But to hit this certain milestone, I can't remember what it
Mhm.
was a technological milestone. I think it's probably going to take about 3 or 4 years. 6 months later, they surpassed that milestone.
Mm.
And I think that is symbolic of what we face, that not only is the change profound, but the rate of change is profound. And so I think one major trend that a lot of people really aren't internalizing or talking about is speed, is the rate of change. And not only is that important for business, but it can also be paralyzing because, okay, what do I commit to when the next thing is coming out next month?
Mhm.
So
So true.
it can sort of be paralyzing. The number of innovations, the number of opportunities can be kind of paralyzing.
Yeah.
And so this ability to discern and test and act quickly, I think is going to be a key idea. But in terms of mega trends, what I'm saying I can only really talk about the things I have some assurance about when it comes to humanity and the human
Mm.
role. And I think we already talked about personal brand.
Mhm.
Personal brand, super important. Number two, I think, is community. And I wrote a book in 2023 and with a very bold subtitle is the book is Belonging to the Brand: Why Community is the Last Great Marketing Strategy. Now, that is a really bold statement. And I really think it's true and it's coming true. And here's one little sort of symbol of that. So I applied to speak at South by Southwest in 2026. And I got this email update from South by, and they said, here are the major topics people have applied to speak about. So you think number one is going to be AI. Wrong.
Mm.
The number one topic is community.
Mm.
Blew my mind.
Wow.
Number two is AI. Now, and the way they described it is that there's this backlash, there's this isolation and loneliness and depression
Mhm.
everywhere across every generation, and they're longing to belong, and especially and AI is going to make it worse. It's just going to make it worse because now AI, we're developing like new meaningful, significant, even romantic relationships with AI. So it's taking us out of
Yes.
humanity more. So number two is community. Number three is experiences. And it's sort of related to community, is to bring people together and have them experience your company and your message in an immersive way that excites them so much that they're going to want to go tell everybody about it,
Yes.
right? That creates
Yep.
word of mouth marketing.
Word of mouth.
And then the fourth, one is something we've also been sort of circling. And it's this idea of the transcendent content. And that's what we've been
Mhm.
talking about, right?
Yep.
This
Mhm.
uniquely human, vulnerable content that AI cannot touch. The content that approaches the level of art, right? So look, let AI do its thing. Who cares? That is not the competition. If that's the competition, your bar is too low. So
Mm.
we can do it. We will do it. And it's going to be more important than ever. So I think those are the four pillars of where humanity is going to fit in this world.
Oh, thank you, Mark, for sharing. You're so inspiring, and we could talk all day together. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about upcoming initiatives, personally or professionally?
Well, actually, there is. I did something kind of crazy.
What?
So, just a matter of weeks ago, I actually launched a new book,
Oh,
and I didn't really plan on it.
okay.
And what happened was earlier this year, I was part of this research study where they brought together 300 futurists from around the world to answer this impossible question: how will AI change humanity by 2035? And as I looked at the resulting report through the lens of business and marketing, there were these amazing conclusions and consensus
Mm,
about how humanity is going to be rewired. And if humanity is being
mhm,
rewired, then our customers are being rewired. So I asked the sponsors of the research if I could turn this into a book, and they said yes. And so the book is How AI Changes Your Customer.
ooh,
How AI Changes Your Customer,
amazing.
the marketing guide to humanity's next chapter. So this is a sort of a mind-boggling book about how
Mm,
humans or the psychology of human beings is literally being changed, rewired in real time, right in front of us, and it's not going back.
mm,
And so we've got to consider this as, sales and marketing professionals. Our
sure.
customers are changing forever.
Oh, that's incredible, Mark. Well, congratulations. We are just going to
Now you
dive
have 2
in.
books, you have 2 books to read.
We are diving in right away on all of them, and this has been really such a pleasure. So you're incredible, and we're so excited to get this episode out to the world and continue to inspire people by your work. And you've helped so many people. So thank you, including us. And where can everyone find you on social?
Well, it's super easy to find me. If you can remember businesses grow, because 'cause you're never
Mhm.
gonna remember how to spell Schaefer,
Okay.
uh, but if you can remember businesses grow, that's my
Okay.
website, and you can find, my books, you can find my blog, you can find all my social connections there. That's the easiest way to stay in touch with me, and I'd love to hear from your listeners. And I wanna thank you for being so well prepared. Tremendous questions, and I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, I have to give credit to the team. The Brand Groupies team is full of rock stars. So thank you. We appreciate that, Mark. So thanks again.
Thank you.